Alright, what's up guys, it's Shogi, and I'm back with another video. Got a gold Paladin deck that we'll be going through. Hope you don't mind a random Lil Wayne song for the next 20 seconds that Pandora decided to play. Apparently they don't have Pandora anywhere other than New Zealand and the United States, so if you don't know what Pandora is, it's pretty much an online radio that just plays random songs that are related to one song that you enter in when you create a new account. So get started with this promo Vice Schwartz sleeve you can only get in random boxes of Japanese booster boxes that some guy gave me at Gen Con. Starting Vanguard is my $20 Spring Breeze. No, he's not actually a $20 card. Some people believe me when I flip him over. Nope, but I'm actually running 2 Spring Breeze, and I was running 3, but I don't know, I'm going to test out 2 here at local Saturday. I've actually just played a few versions of this deck at Free Fight at Gen Con where you just play random matches. So far it's doing pretty dang well, but sometimes I need an extra grade 1, and the 5k booster isn't always clutch. So if we're going to go through our triggers here, obviously 4 heals. I'm not going any man mode in this deck. I'm not running 16 stands or anything. In the next set I will be able to run 16 crit if I really wanted to, but my other ratios are 2 draw and 10 crit. I figure Lop-Ear Shooter and Paladin, which we'll get to, actually do discard a card from hand, so you need really every other game is fine, because if you get 1 Paladin off, you're going to get 2 cards. You're only losing 1 card because you're going to get an extra twin drive, so that's why I only run 2 draws, and critical triggers are just so clutch. Just 10 random crits will do. I'm running Flame of Victory. That's because I actually kind of needed him when I had a pure Ezel build. And this is a pretty unique build. I'm not going to leave a deck list or anything. I pretty much post my unique decks to inspire people to think outside the box, because we'll get into the meat and potatoes of why it's pretty unique. I've got cards that I've experimented with and different variations of this deck, which we'll get into eventually. But 10 crit, 2 draw, 4 heal. I run 1 Slagle Dagger. We'll see how he works out. I'm only running 1 because I don't want to waste more than... Well, maybe if I end up with an Ezel in the end, then I probably won't have Counterblast for Slagle. But if I end up with a Pelennor, then I'll have probably 2 free Counterblasts for him to push for game 1 turn. Get him up to an 11k booster. Have him boost maybe a Bagdemigist for a 23k column if he's got a Cross Ride. Or if he just has a 10k Vanguard, he can easily boost a Lop-Ear Shooter for a 20k column. So Slagle Dagger, he'll be versatile. If not, he's just a solid 7k booster, which is pretty good in this deck. So, on to the next one. I'm running 2 Nimue instead of Caden. I've seen a lot of builds who run Caden because he can boost. Well, I thought about it, and these are grade 1 Vivians. Literally the exact same effect. Grade 1, 7k. And thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I can form a 15k column with Gareth, so get a couple attacks off early game before they get smart and decide to kill this off, so it's not a pressure row. And yeah, I only run 2 because I need other grade 1s like Dindrain. Originally I was running 3. In my new build I have 2. Dindrain, really good card. And I don't know if I'm going to run Liberators yet, because there's a 7k card that actually has the exact same effect as Dindrain. We had to Soul Blast a card with Liberator in its name. So I don't know if I'm going to make the switch. This deck's actually pretty dang solid. And I don't really want to abandon my original Ezel build, but Liberators look like they're just going to be so good. They're going to have a break ride. I don't know how I'm going to work it out, if I'm going to run... What? Yes, leave me alone. Alright, well, maybe after I'm recording a video. Yes, I don't even have it yet. Christ. I just got my permit today, and that's why I locked my door. Otherwise, they would have just barged right in. Yeah, so Liberators have a break ride. I don't know if I'm going to work that out with Pelennors or not, because Pelennor is just such a good card. For Gareth, save some time by it. You don't even need an explanation. But I run 4 Perfect Guards. Luckily, I pulled 1 the other day, or else I would have only had 3, because I was only running 3 in my other build. But if you don't run 3 Perfect Guards in this format, you're stupid. If you don't run 4, you're crazy. That's how I put it. So I run 4. Because extra criticals are just stupid. And Prisms, you really need Perfect Guards. At the end, you need Perfect Guards. The list goes on, you need Perfect Guards. I run 2 Spirits. It's because I'd rather have Spirits than vanilla 10Ks, because they actually have an effect. Yes, they can get killed if they're attacked by anything, but then you have an open rearguard circle to call to, so I don't mind running him over vanilla 10Ks, because he's still 10K, and sometimes I get his effect off on turn 2 with a Spring Breeze, which is never bad. I run 2 Bagdemagus because half the time I'm going to have an Ezel at the end of the game, because we'll get there. But I could run 4, but I figure half the time I'm going to end with Pelennor, half the time I'm going to end with Ezel. So I only run half of my 10K to 10/12K stuff with Bagdemagus. Now I run 3 Vivian. One of my friends at Gen Con actually just gave me one, then he sold me 2 for 14, which is a real deal because at the time they were like $9 cards, so he got me $4 off, and it was nice of him. 3 Vivian, self-explanatory. She goes well in a Pelennor deck or any gold Paladin that prioritizes calling from the deck. Then of course you need 4 Lop-Ear Shooter. I've experimented a lot with Lop-Ear Shooter, and if you Lop-Ear Shooter into another Lop-Ear Shooter, you better think really hard about whether or not you want to discard another card from hand, because you're losing shield at that point, and if you're doing it to get a Pelennor, you're going to end up having to discard 2 more cards. So my experience with Lop-Ear Shooter, if you get another Lop-Ear Shooter, and you don't have like a 7-card hand with 3 grade 3s, just call that Lop-Ear Shooter over this one so it's stood, because the first one's going to be, depending on who called it, if it's Spring Breeze or not, it'll be rested, and you can call over this Lop-Ear Shooter with another one that you hit. Or if you just hit a Blaster Blade Spirit or something, I don't know. It's all depending on what's going on in the game. On the grade 3s, I'm running 4 Platinum Ezels. I was actually only at 3 before Gen Con, and I pulled one in a random pack because I had to spend at least $10 to use a debit card at a booth. So I saved like $25 I didn't have to spend. 4 Platinum Ezels because you really need an 11K Vanguard in this format or else you're screwed. And he has a game-winning ultimate break. I can really only use 2 Counterblast if I'm going to get that off. 3 if you adjust for a trigger, or heal trigger I mean. But typically you're going to be ahead in damage because you want to go second with this deck. If you're running Pelennors, you always want to go second, which surprises people when I say I want to go second, because then they're like, what's going on? But yeah, 4 Platinum Ezels, the card I've been talking about all along. 4 Pelennor, and Pelennor is just a really good card. I got 4 for $40 from my guy at Gen Con. He wanted 80 for all 4, and I was like, how about you check eBay, and I will give you 40. And he was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Side note, I have 2 Japanese promo deck boxes that I got at Gen Con. Those are on my eBay for 15 each. And I've got sleeves, packets of sleeves, and got these at 11 each, I think. And I just took the lowest prices on eBay and knocked off a few cents. So cards I've experimenting with, as I said, 3 Spring Breeze if you want to take out that Slagle Dagger. Perfectly good substitution. And what I was originally testing with before I had 4 Platina was 3 Platina, 1 regular Ezel. And I was running these over Bagdemagus and, Bagdemagus and Blade Spirit. And Curve obviously would replace my Vanguard Spring Breeze. And then I was running 2 other Spring Breezes instead of the 1 Slagle Dagger. Other than that, I was testing Silverfang Witch instead of 1 Dindrain, and then I was running a Slagle Dagger to make up for the 6 to 5K. So I was running 1 Dindrain, 1 Silverfang. It's always something you can try. With a regular Ezel and a Platinum Ezel, I was trying out with Disciple of Pain, but I'm really only using her in this deck for an ultimate break, and if that's the case, you can only have 1 counterblasted damage, which I'm going to get rid of on turn 2, so she didn't come in use very often, but she also just sends heals back in the deck, so whatever you want to do with her. And lastly, I was experimenting with 11 crits, but if you experiment with 11 crits, you're never going to hit draw triggers, and they're just going to be good for discarding cards from hand, and and I want opponents to see that I run draws, so they're thrown off by my ratios. Other than that, I experimented with stands. If you're going to use stands, it's only because you're using Caden and he calls his rest. And you got to be really strategic with what rows you attack with first. And I was experimenting with different kinds of stands. Initially, I was running the other Ezels. I have other Bagdemagus just in case. Trips, if you want to run them. I was experimenting with a Black Mane Witch when I was running 3 Dindrains. So I was running, I substituted 1 Dindrain for her and was running 2 Dindrain. And then I was also experimenting with 3 Caden instead of my my Slagle and 2 Nimue. So take what you want out of this deck. It's pretty original. It's what I'm going to be taking to Chicago. I'm pretty sure if I don't, if it's not that, it's some variation here, but hopefully that inspired you to make some sort of original build, not just one straight out of the meta. And until then, I'll hopefully see you at the World Championships.